Hey guys, what's going on? Francesco here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here for the first time, I make music as distilled noise and I share my journey on this channel. So if you're interested in this topic, consider subscribing to the channel. So after acoustically treating my room, I decided to upgrade also my monitors. I owned a pair of KRK Rocky 5 for almost 10 years. And now I am a proud owner of a pair of Focal Solo 6B. While I was buying the monitor, I also decided to buy Sonarworks SoundID Reference, which is the new product by Sonarworks to calibrate your speakers. I was curious to try it, to see if my room had problems and try to solve them. I already knew about some of the problems that I had, but with Sonarworks I also found out new ones. So was this really worth it? Let's find out. Before starting with the video, I want to report this contest from Sample Sound. You know, I've already collaborated with Sample Sound. I made a drum loop using their samples. If you're interested in watching the video, you find the link up here. Now they're launching this great contest where you can win a vinyl release. The rules are very simple. You just need to make a track using some of their samples from their packs and to document how you used those samples in an Instagram video and tag them. So very simple rules. They will pick 4 winners and they will release these 4 winners tracks on a vinyl release. So super nice chance to get your music released on a vinyl support, which is always a great achievement, and also to challenge yourself to respect a deadline and to put your music out for a contest. Deadline is July the 1st. If you're interested in joining, which I really suggest, you find the link in the description of the video. So you may first be curious if there is a difference between KRK and Focals. And yes, of course there is. The main thing that I noticed was the high frequencies. Yes, the lows are deeper, they sound better also on the lows, but what really blew my mind away were the highs, the clarity on in the high frequencies, how well I could hear and spot resonances on hi-hats while mixing, how easily I could hear reverb when applying that to my tracks. I always did it on my headphones before because I wasn't able to hear that in my monitors. And also when listening to music is another experience. You can really feel in the track because of how detailed is the stereo image. Super happy about them. So why Sonarworks, you may ask? Speakers are not the only thing that makes sounds. Room is also important. So I was curious to inspect my room, to know what were the problems and to try to solve them. I already knew about a big problem in my room, which is a null at around 97 Hz, and I was quite sure that Sonarworks couldn't solve it because a null happens when your direct sound at a specific frequency meets the same sound coming from the back wall, so the reflected sound, in perfect antiphase. So plus and minus get cancelled. So that frequency disappears if that happens where you are listening. If something disappears, it's hard to take it back. So the way Sonarworks work is that you analyze your room around your listening position, and it detects where you have dip in your frequency response, so it applies an EQ and take them up, and where you have peaks, so it applies an EQ and take them down. It's very good to solve peaks problem because you just need to take down power around that frequency. For dips, it depends. When the dips is created by a null, a strong null, even if you add more power, more pressure at that frequency, it will keep emitting in antiphase in your listening position, and so it will keep getting cancelled. So that's why I knew I couldn't solve that problem. Now let's see the other problems that I have, and so let's take a look at the graph after I run the measurements. So this is my room response, left and right channel. You can see, first of all, there is a difference between left and right, and I think this is probably very common because of the room is not super symmetrical. It's not symmetrical at all, and so it has a lot of difference on the reflections. You can see my null here around at 96 Hertz. The other problem that I wasn't aware about, but that was, I think, the main problem of my room, is this peak that goes, let's say, from 138, you can see the frequency here, 138, 140 to about 230. This is what made me mix for so long all my kicks, all my lower frequency content on my track in my headphones, because on the speakers I really felt, when I moved from headphones to speaker, there was this sort of boominess in the lower sounds that I thought it was part of the sound that was wrong. And so I kept adding EQs on this area, on my kicks, on my bass lines, because I didn't like how they sound on my monitors, and I was trusting more my monitors than my headphones. But the reality is that after I applied Sonarworks, which tamed this frequency, this peak, what I hear in my headphones is the same I hear on monitors now. So if the question is Sonarworks worth it? Yes, it is, because of this part. I mean, you can see other problems as we go on, other dips and peaks that Sonarworks can deal with, and it adjusted a little bit, but this was my main problem. When I use headphones, I deactivate the calibration. I don't use calibration on my headphones because I'm super used to these headphones, how they sound. There is the calibration also for this on Sonarworks, but I don't use it. When I go to monitors, I activate the calibration, and everything sounds like I expect. So finally, I can trust my kicks when I listen them on the monitors. So let's take a look at Sonarworks and see what it does. So as you can see, basically this is the original sound, the violet one, and the green one is what it applies, the EQ that it applies to correct the problem. So it's simply opposite equalization. You can also extend the lows if you want. If you do aggressive, it extends the calibration also to the very lows, and this increase this loss that I have on the very lowest frequency, and these monitors can reproduce very well down to 40 Hertz. So this is worth it, but most of the time I use the neutral kind of correction. Now, the thing that I did after correcting my room was to test with the same mic that they gave to me. This is the microphone. So I wanted to run a measurement also on another software to see the difference before and after the calibration. So I used Room EQ Wizard, which is a software that was suggested to me by Durasai. So this is before the room calibration, and this is after. So as you can see, there is a more flat response on these frequencies, so from 100 Hertz on, compared to what I had before. If you put a line here, this is more linear. But what I didn't solve, and that's what I was talking about earlier, is this dip that I have at 97 Hertz. How can I? Okay. This dip at 97 Hertz is still there. So if I compare the two SPL measurements, you can see I still have it. I didn't solve that much. I sold this peak around here. I sold this dip around here, but this one hasn't been sold at all. So this is what I was talking about. So where you have a null, it's very hard to take it away. This is because of my room dimensions. It's because of the room modes, and I can't solve this with Sonarworks. To solve it, I would need a resonant panel in the back wall probably, tuned to that specific frequency, to absorb that specific frequency. There is no space to put it, so I will leave with that. But in conclusion, guys, so I am very happy of this combo. New monitors plus Sonarworks. I can totally recommend it. So consider trying it. This is not a sponsored video for SoundID. I didn't ask them to send me the mic also because I think they wouldn't have. But yeah, try it out. Okay guys, so hope this video was interesting, a little bit different from usual. If you like this kind of content, let me know. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys, bye bye.